All right. The day that this happened, it was a very stressful day at work. I had been texting my wife the whole day, telling her I have a lot of anxiety. I'm really stressed out. I think I'm gonna go to the movies tonight. I go to the movies alone a lot. It's really relaxing. I enjoy it. This particular night, it didn't go as planned. I had gotten into Zins a few months prior to this day, and I slowly started overdoing it. I had about 7 or 8 before I left work, which is a lot for me at least. It's probably why I had so much anxiety and I didn't even realize it. When I got home, I was very hesitant on if I was gonna go or not. I ended up going, but before I went, I made the decision to take 50 milligrams of edibles. And I think that was a really big contributing factor, as was all the nicotine and everything else. We'll get to that part. On the way to the movies, I stopped by the liquor store and I bought a Heineken tall can. When I got to the movies, I parked in the parking lot and chugged it real quick, literally probably within like 6 or 7 minutes. And on top of everything else, I was smoking my stizzy all night. The movie I went to go watch was called Immaculate. It's a horror movie with Sydney Sweeney. It was a packed movie theater. I'm pretty sure the movie had just come out. I had anxiety already. I could feel it not going away. I specifically got tickets up in the corner on the right because I didn't want to sit next to anybody. I bought popcorn. I never do that, but I did that night. I literally ate the entire bag of popcorn and I started feeling even more anxiety. I had butter all over my hands, so I went to the restrooms and I washed my hands and I kind of like got myself together. And then I went back to my seat and sat down, and 2 people came walking up. And keep in mind, I had bought a ticket all the way in the corner away from everybody, but 2 people came up and sat right next to me. And that just really, really messed with my head. I'm super introverted. I have a lot of social anxiety, and that was just like, dude, there's more seats. Why did you come sit right next to me? You know? And keep in mind too, I just chugged 2 beers. I'm starting to feel these edibles, 50 milligrams at once, which is a lot for me too. A shitload of nicotine, the most I've ever done in my life. Also smoking this weed pen and a bunch of sugar from the damn popcorn. Obviously a recipe for disaster. I actually feel kind of stupid and embarrassed even talking about it, but whatever. These people sit next to me and try to deal with that. I took what would be my 10th Zin of the day. Right when I take it, I feel this uncontrollable wave of panic that just flushes over my body, and it just kept building and building. I've had panic attacks and things like that in the past, but never like this. My toes start to tingle, my fingertips start to tingle. I feel like I have no control over my limbs. It felt like one of the worst trips I've ever been on, mixed with that feeling when you're like really, really drunk, throwing up at a toilet and you're spinning and you just don't know where you are and your vision goes black. Like that's exactly how it started feeling. The screen starts to shrink down like this, literally to the point where it was as if the entire movie screen was this small in my vision and it was like floating away. I kind of had an idea that I was about to pass out. I was telling myself in my head, just don't stand up, just don't stand up. And that was kind of one of the last thoughts I had. I do have like a picture, like a one frame of a memory of me standing up, trying to walk down the stairs, and then darkness. I wake up with my face like this, my nose to the side of my face, concrete on my face, with people telling me, just don't move, don't try to get up, don't try to get up. And I pick myself up a little bit and just blood just dripping down my face like this, like coming down off my mouth. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I start laughing. All the lights are on in the movie theater now too. And everybody's standing up out of their seats looking at me and talking and whispering. And then I remember a memory of me telling myself to stop laughing because I felt like I was scaring people in the movie theater. So I literally just put my face back down and fell asleep. I do have a faint memory of the guy sitting next to me, giving me my weed pen back and saying, hey, you dropped this, bro. I'm gonna put it in your pocket for you. I have a faint memory of trying to apologize to people and saying, I'm sorry, guys. I have faint memories of his wife, the 2 people who came and sat next to me who I had all this anxiety about. They were asking me, what is my wife's phone number? Who can they call to help me? And I was able to give them Monica's phone number. I could hear them talking to her. And just to add to that, I had anxiety about these 2 strangers coming and sitting next to me, but they're the ones who actually took care of me and helped me. So That was a huge learning lesson. We'll get to that. I have a faint memory of the EMTs coming in, helping me on the stretcher and like wheeling me out. And then I remember as I'm like going down the hallway to leave the theater, I kind of look back and the EMT's like, yeah, give them a thumbs up. Let them know you're okay. And I went like this on some Kobe shit. Then I just remember like just being like, damn, I just going to sleep. I remember waking up in the ambulance and them asking me questions about like what my name was, what city I'm in, things like that. They asked me who's the president, and I try to make a joke. I was like, well, it determines on you who you ask. And in my mind, it was funny, and I was like, they didn't think it was funny. And then I remember asking them for permission to use my phone. And they're like, yeah, of course, you're good. And so I called my wife and I told her what happened. And she was just like, oh, babe, what the hell? What's going on? What happened? And I was like, I fell. I don't know what happened. I just like passed out. The lady told my wife that I basically like took a step and just passed out face forward and that I just was out. And I went down a couple steps, like I missed the step and I just face planted straight on concrete from like 2 steps up. And now that I'm talking about this, I'm remembering that a lot of the details I remember of what happened, I heard people talking amongst each other. It really was a mind fuck because I feel like it gave me a better understanding of what it's like to die. Because it really is like, you don't remember going to sleep. Like you don't remember the moments as you're falling asleep. You know what I mean? Like, and this was like that times 10. It was insane. So I think about taking a picture of this moment, but I felt like it would be disrespectful. Like I already felt like I was wasting people's time. I was starting to feel embarrassed. I went into the ER and was kind of like kept in the hallways, low priority. Everybody was really polite and cool. And it's funny because the first nurse who came up to me was like, so what happened tonight? You get in a car accident? I was like, no, I passed out at the movies. They kept asking me like if I drank and what all the different things I did. And I mean, I didn't really get into like all the details of all the different things I did because it didn't even click in my head like what could have happened. The only thing that hurt, which was troubling, was the back of my neck was really in pain. My nose felt a little pain. My eyebrow was really sliced up. My knee hurt pretty bad. Then they gave me a Norco and I was like, okay, all right. So anyways, I got a CAT scan done. My neck was good. My brain was good. Got what's called a mandibular head fracture in my jaw. And my nose was fractured. I had a big laceration in my eyebrow that needed 6 stitches. Couldn't really figure out what happened. In my opinion, I think that I just overdid it with too much bullshit and substances. I'm getting older and a bunch of different things in my opinion. My nose and my jaw healed on their own. My nose is crazy crooked. I mean, I guess not crazy, but noticeably crooked. Every time I look at it, I look like somebody in Photoshop just used the smudge tool, just like a tiny bit. But my jaw, I didn't really feel anything. I probably should get a follow-up done because I'm starting to feel a little bit of weirdness in it. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. This here is actually the healing process, right? So these are the first pictures the night it happened. And I took a picture kind of every few days after of how I healed. And this is how it went. I was kind of pleasantly surprised and happy that I feel like I healed pretty quickly. I was actually able to still make it to Coachella 2 weeks later. People kept hitting me up like I was crazy about that, but it was worth it. A couple things I do want to say before I end is I did treat it like a learning lesson about my anxiety, my social anxiety, and at least the aspect of it where I started I was kind of mean to people even in my head. I don't want to do that anymore. I can't really get away from my social anxiety, but as far as thinking poorly about somebody's soul, just because they come and sit next to me at a movie theater, I need to stop doing that. Relying on my wife for a lot of different things in the healing process. She helped out a lot. Even the doctors and the nurses were very helpful. It was a big learning lesson and a humbling experience. I absolutely needed that shit. And what's funny is that a few nights ago, I went to go see a movie called 1992. And I randomly sat in that exact same seat. It's funny. I had randomly been in that theater again, but not in the same seat. And I swear to God, it was totally random. But going on a Sunday morning when I had not drinking the night before, and I was feeling good about myself because I haven't drank in like 45 days or something like that. And knowing that I've been eating better and taking care of myself better, and knowing that as I'm sitting in that seat, it's not going to happen again. It was like a full circle moment. I feel like I was kind of finding myself in a bad place again, and like a manic moment where I wanted to self destruct and all this complicated bullshit in my head. And but I realized in that moment, like, wow, like that was kind of like a sign from God or the universe or whatever you want to call it, that hey, you're doing the right thing and continue, dare forward. Not to get too cheesy there at the end, but it was a big deal talking about it right now. And like I said, on Sunday morning, like it's kind of about time I talked about it. And thanks for listening. If you guys made it to this far in the video, man, you guys are amazing. Seriously. Coming back and making YouTube videos again has been kind of a roller coaster for me. It's not that easy, but I hope, we have a good run again. And I guess that's it, man. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm trying to hit 100,000 before I die. Have a great weekend. I'll see you guys on Monday. Peace.